The patch is out, the Emma Frost buff is live, and I'm gonna keep it very short and simple for this part. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun with this buff. It's almost everything I ever wanted it to be. And yeah, let's go over the changes first and just talk about the champion in general. But as far as the changes go, change signature ability Diamond Form to activation threshold from losing 50 to 5% max HP to 50 to 5% base HP against non-tech champs. And basically this just means that when your Diamond Form is triggering, it's mathed off of boosts, which is a lot easier to manage because sometimes you'll trigger the Diamond Form when you don't want to, when you have boosts up and stuff like that, so now you don't have to worry about that problem. They added signature ability Diamond Form no longer activate on well-timed blocks, also pretty good change. Added gain 2 prowess from trigger Incinerate, Shock, or Bleed Immunity in Diamond Form. This is my favorite part. This makes her so much better to ramp up on hazard shift fights, which is stuff I intend to be taking in Alliance War. Ironically, the only hazard shift fight I'm taking in this video is going to be on the Poison Cold Snap one, so you can't exactly see what I mean by that, like when the prowess starts rolling against those hazard shift nodes, but I'm sure I'll be taking her into Alliance War a lot, so you'll be able to see it eventually when we get to next season. Increase Diamond Form, max prowess 5 to 10, so great. Same thing for Telepath Form, but it's 10 to 15. That's just flat out more damage, because they didn't nerf the potency or the crit rate increase, or the crit damage increase of the prowess. It's just a flat out buff, more damage and stuff, which is fantastic. Increase Telepath Form, prowess duration from 7 to 12, huge, because those were always falling off if you couldn't play as aggro as you needed to, and that's an extra 5 seconds to play, to like deal with the AI maybe not letting you play aggro. And then they increase the taunt chance on your heavy in Telepath. I never found myself really using the taunt for many scenarios, but in the scenarios where you want to stay in Telepath Form more than Diamond Form, which I wouldn't say happens very often, but in those scenarios you want to get them dropping their specials faster, now's a guaranteed taunt. It didn't really make sense for a taunt to be guaranteed beforehand, so I'd say that's a pretty good change. And then they increase the crit rate increase per prowess from 10 to 15. Just flat out more reliability on getting those special 2 crits and getting your prowess up faster, which is just nothing but an absolutely positive buff. So we'll go ahead and get into gameplay now. And I'm pleased to announce that every single fight in this video is on the live server, because, I mean, I have a live server, Emma Frost, so I might as well put my money where my mouth is. But on top of that, she's not buffed on the beta yet, so all these fights are coming from live server, meaning I had to go ahead and try to do BG's fights, BG's friendlies, and dude, it's so painful to try to get that one champ you're trying to fight with in the 40 champ BG's decks now. It took so many forfeits to try to get her to be able to use her, but luckily I was able to get enough fights before I had to leave later to make a decent enough video for you guys. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start against Winter Soldier here. You can see that Special 2 is crazy, and yeah, it's a good start to the video in my opinion. But as far as where you want to use Emma, short fights are the main thing. And in fact, Winter Soldier here has a bit more HP than what she's best at. She's best at BG's health pools. She's best at short fight war health pools as well. She can definitely do the medium fights, but if you can kill an opponent in one Special 2, that's the best thing for her. That doesn't always happen, and in fact most matchups you are going to need 2 SP2s, but it still means that in scenarios like against this Bullseye here, where we can kill him in one Special 2, holy crap, it's pretty crazy. Now, I will point out one thing. Emma Frost benefits very heavily from class advantage. You're going to feel a huge difference between playing against a skill champ and playing against a non-skill champ. Reason for that is because she's a champion who doesn't increase her base attack rating in her own kit. Champions who don't increase their base attack in any way, whether from a Fury or from a passive effect in their base kit, always feel attack increases more than the other champ, because they're balanced around not increasing their base attack. So when you get that extra attack rating from class advantage, it matters significantly more for a champion who does get a crap ton of base attack increase, like say Hulkling for instance. Because Hulkling doesn't feel class advantage as much as Emma does, because he increases his base attack in the Furies and the buffs he gains, so he doesn't need to do that. Anyway, so yeah, fighting against a skill champ is going to feel a lot better than fighting against a science champ here, but that doesn't mean fighting a non-skill champ feels bad, which is absolutely what we're going to see here against the Spider-Woman. And Spider-Woman's a good matchup for her because when you're in Telepath form, one of my favorite utility pieces that Emma has is in Telepath form, you just ignore evade. This isn't a slow, it's not an ability accuracy reduction, flat out you just ignore evade. There's nothing the opponent can do to evade you, which is why the Bullseye matchup works, because it's not an ability accuracy reduction, as I already mentioned, so you don't need to worry about him being immune to that, you just flat out stop evade. And yeah, you can utilize that against Spider-Woman there, and just nuke her down into special 2s. Now, I do need to mention, and you can see right here what the Saga tag is. Basically, it's giving me a very small Fury and Prowess, 10% each. So that is a little bit of damage inflation, of course, but also she's an ascendable champ. And once we get that level 1 ascension, which will be reasonably easy to get, level 1, compared to level 2, which will be a lot harder, it's kind of like the same thing as having that Fury and Prowess at all the time. So, or close at least. It's not exactly the same, but you get the math, right? And so, anyway, we're gonna go fight Nick Fury now. It also has a power efficiency on the Saga buff as well. And I'd say the power efficiency actually makes the fights harder for her, because oftentimes after you drop your special 2, you want to be in Diamond form. And if you are in Telepath form after your special 2, that's not good. And so I'm going to point it out in a couple matchups that we'll get to later, but that power efficiency actually hurts me, because I want to be at lower power, so I'm in that Diamond when they're dropping their own special, and I want to be able to drop my special 2 with a lot more prowess, which, you know, if I have a lot of power remaining, I won't have a lot of time to get that prowess ramped up. So I do think the power efficiency actually harms her, so it kind of evens out a little bit. There's actually one point in this fight that you'll see when we're trying to kill Nick where like the power efficiency helped out a lot, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Here I'm fighting Nick, and he was very stingy with the special 2 here, so that makes the fight last a lot longer than it could. But we'll go ahead and punish his special 2 here. And this is just going to happen with Emma, where you get that one special 2 where, dude, I had so many prowess and didn't crit. That's just the novelty of playing with a 2018 mutant. And a buff isn't going to change the core identity of a mutant prowess champ who is just going to not crit on their special 2 sometimes. So if you intend on ranking Emma, that's something you need to be aware of. You're not always going to get that special 2 crit. You will very often get that special 2 crit. You'll get that special 2 crit more often than previously because of the fact that the crit rate is increased, but it is something you have to be aware of if you intend on playing Emma a lot. It's something I'm fine with because, yeah, that special 2 does crit very often, and on the often times it doesn't, it's just RNG. That's just how a lot of champs work. So, we're fighting Lumatrix here next. This is a matchup I really like. Again, you can use the Telepath evade counter very well here. And my game in some of these fights was lagging so bad to where, like, I missed a parry, like, a block too early, as you saw earlier on that fight. So that can make the fights more annoying, but you can see how this Luma fight goes. It's pretty good. I do, yeah, miss a crit there, and then here, I believe I take a hit because, I don't know what I was doing there, but I think that was my fault. Anyway, that definitely made the fight look a lot worse than it could have. And yeah, missing that crit and taking that hit definitely makes this fight look a lot worse than it should be. This fight can be as fast as the Bullseye fight was if you get that perfect crit RNG, which again isn't always going to happen, and this is BG's, and I'm not going to just redo the fight until I get that perfect crit for you. No, you need to see exactly what Emma Frost is, and that means you can fail the special 2 crit sometimes. So now we're going to go fight Rhino. This is a decent matchup because Emma's special 2 damage is all energy, of course, and you get so much crit rating that you can bypass a lot of his physical resistance and crit resistance that he's going to accumulate. There's one thing in this matchup that was like, yeah, I could have gotten punished a little bit there. So there, I punched him, and that made him stun immune, which I didn't realize he was going to go stun immune when that happened, so that did mess me up a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and drop the special 2 here, and then we get a big crit there, which is great. Then I'm going to go ahead and build up some more of my prowess by parrying some hits on the special 2. And like, this matchup isn't perfect, it's really not, but honestly, not that many non-skill champs take Rhino very well, and just the fact that she did this fight really well was impressive to me. and as you can see there, we got the special 2 crits. The crit resist on Rhino is a little bit higher, the higher sig the Rhino, so it's not always going to be like that reliable, but it's still a matchup that I enjoy doing, and you can win rounds off of it. And a lot of BGs is just, can I win rounds off of this? It's not always like, oh, I need to have this 51k fight. No, in my opinion, like, a champion who can win rounds off of doing something is still valuable. So like against that Rhino, it's not like a crazy nuke score, but again, you can win rounds off of it, and I don't think she's a bad champ because of that. It just means that she's not going to be everyone's first go-to. And I'm not really saying you should go to Emma before 10 other mutants. It's just, if you want to play Emma, you can win rounds off of doing the specific matchup, depending on what your defensive play is, depending on if you're throwing the round or not, or if you threw a round prior or not, to make the next round better for Emma. Anyway, all sorts of BG's novelties, but like, yeah, this champ is not putting up bad scores, it's just not the craziest scores that are going to be the best in like Celestial tier or whatever. Because most players aren't Celestial, you don't need to have a 51k score to win a round. Anyway, we're fighting Nico here, and so yeah, you're poison immune when you're in the diamond form, so that of course makes this matchup pretty decent. And yeah, it's just about managing the forms that Emma has. I'm going to go ahead and push Nico red, just go for that special 2 nuke, because I had pretty good faith it was going to kill her, and it did. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest you always push Nico red and just blind faith that your special 2 kills, but still, it's a pretty decent fight. Lost a little bit of health, and you can win a round off of that matchup, just like the Rhino. So anyway, we're going to go fight Punisher now on node 27 in War. And I messed up a couple things in this fight, which I'm definitely going to point out, but again, this is where an example of the power efficiency actually making Emma's life harder, because this war tactic gives Emma power efficiency, and that was kind of annoying because I want to be in diamond after my special 2, which made these fights a lot more frustrating at times, because yeah, I would like to be in diamond after my special 2, I don't want to have a bar of power after my special 2. So that was annoying, and yeah, like ideally I'd be blocking these Punisher special 2s in diamond, and that just wasn't always able to happen. So we drop a special 2 there, it does a really nice amount of damage, and here I need to get him to drop his special 2, and we get it, and then we switch to telepath form mid special 2, because again, I have that power efficiency, which is actively harming me. So here, I probably should have just gone for a special 2, because he had power focus too, but there I just eat it to the face, because again, like my Luma fight, my block just dropped, and I think that, again, that was on me, it wasn't the game's fault, because I know, like, I let my thumb up for some reason. I could not tell you why I did that, but maybe I was expecting him to do something else, but like, yeah, you can see the reliability of being poison and cold snap immune is still there, and I didn't lose much health at all from the poisons. You could see it was 9% health lost from the poison, that was all just my fault. Taking the damage. So I think she's going to be a very reliable hazard killer, especially against the skill champs, and against non-skill champs too. I think she'll be useful, which again I intend to prove a lot more in the war season whenever we get to that. So here we're fighting Baron Zemo on node 37. This was just a really fun time, and fighting Zemo with Emma is a really fun time. You can use the fact that you have he has the non-contact medium attacks to reparry, get more prowess that way. And you also have slight crit resist and crit damage resist when you are in Emma's diamond form, so he's not always going to be able to crit your block the way he would against other champs. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend just parrying a bunch in diamond once you get a bunch of disorients up, but it does mean you can do those reparries at the start of the fight a good bit and ramp up your prowess initially, and just build up to another fat special 2. So I think that's what I'm going to do here, where we're going to just hit him when he's rooted, and then go for that fat special 2 with 14 prowess, and yeah, you can see the damage there, it's pretty wild. And I think I showed that I had minor boosts on for those war fights, but if I didn't, yeah, you might as well know I did have minor boosts on for those war fights, because when I'm doing war in off-season, I do like War Simulator where I am boosted for regular season, because I do think it matters to show what a champion would look like in a regular war season where you are boosted, because that's always happening in high tier war and stuff. So I apologize if I didn't show that for the Punisher fight, but yeah, we have a medium rainbow boost on for those war fights specifically, because, again, I want to show what a real war fight might look like. Anyway, so that's Emma Frost, and this was just an initial day 1 showcase, and I already made a 15-minute video on it, so that goes to show I'm going to be doing a lot with this champion in the future, and I hope you guys are going to look forward to that. Do tell me what you think of the Emma Frost buff and what your favorite buff of this batch of 10 is. I should have more buff videos coming out later this week as well, because Emma wasn't the only one that I've been trying to play day 1. So, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.